Hi, it's Carrie. In today's 5-Minute Friday, I'm going to walk you through the DOAJ, the Directory of Open Access Journals. It's been around for at least 20 years, and there's a lot here to read about. Most notably, the journals that appear in DOAJ have to go through an application process. If you were affiliated with the journal, you could look at the application form, but to just look at the guide for applying, it will tell you what the criteria are for open access journals to be listed here. So they must be actively publishing scholarly research. Newly launched journals must demonstrate a publishing history of more than 1 year. They only accept open access journals with open access statements indicating that it fulfills the DOAJ definition of open access. The full text of all content must be available for free and open access without delay, meaning no embargo. The journal website must have its own dedicated URL and homepage that is accessible from any location. Each article must be available as an individual full-text article. Journals that include intrusive advertising are not accepted. DOAJ does not approve of using impact factors or ranking metrics. However, journals may display journal impact factor calculated by Clarivat and metrics from Scopus. Journals must not display any reference to impact factors from any other service, so you can't just make up your own. That happens sometimes. The website does not need to be in English. If the site is available in multiple languages, the information provided must be the same in all languages. The following information must be available online and easily accessible from the journal homepage: the open access policy, aims and scope, the editorial board, instructions for authors, editorial process including the peer review, licensing terms, copyright terms, author charges, and contact details. They must have at least ISSN, that's an identifier for journals, and that should be displayed on the website. And the ISSN journal's name should match what is showing at the ISSN directory. And then quality control, special issues. Journals that publish special issues or other content curated by guest editors must adhere to additional criteria. So sometimes special issues are like self-citations, licensing. The licensing term for use and reuse of published content must be clearly stated on the website. DOAJ recommends using Creative Commons licenses for this purpose. It is recommended that the licensing information is displayed or embedded in the full text. The copyright terms applied to the published content must be clearly stated and separate from those applied to the website. Copyright terms must not contradict the licensing terms or the terms of the open access policy. All rights reserved is never appropriate for open access content. And then they have some additional criteria for journal types: arts and humanities, clinical case reports, conference proceedings, data, overlay, student-run, flipped, mirror, book review journals, and it talks about the application process and the time to decision, generally within 3 months, and what to do if your application is rejected and how to appeal. All right, that's probably enough for today, so we're going to go back up to the homepage, and I'm just going to look for autism. Just search for journals. We're just going to search for journals, and we're getting some that aren't in English, it looks like, and that's okay. That wasn't a requirement. And so at first glance, you get a little bit of information about the journals. I'm familiar with this one. Let's try this one. Autism and Developmental Language Impairments, published by Sage, accepts manuscripts in English. And then journal subjects are here. Over here we see the last updated date, and I believe that's the last updated date in the DOAJ. So maybe nothing has changed since then, and these are all a little bit more recent. Author doesn't retain all rights. The APC would be $800 US. Here are the licenses: Creative Commons Attribution, Creative Commons Attribution, non-commercial. All right, and if we looked at that one, then we're getting a dashboard with a whole lot more information that might be useful And I've done a video on Sherpa Romeo before. Let's go back here. And the other thing you can do here when you search is look for open access journals without article processing charges, which is pretty common that they would charge you to publish your article. But you can also look for journals that do not have article processing charges. So the first one in Persian does not have an article processing charge. This one in Russian does not have an article processing charge. Let's look at a bigger group of journals. I just searched for surgery. I removed all the filters. We get 493 indexed journals. So you can sort by last updated, title, relevance, and add it to DOAJ, oldest, newest. On the left, you get that option to see journals without fees with a DOAJ seal, which I think is just a little bit of an extra endorsement, I guess, but I'm not sure they're going to be keeping that. You can also look for author retains all rights. You can search for subjects, languages, licenses. So these are different types of Creative Commons licenses. You can search for publishers if you have somebody in mind. You can search for countries, peer review, anonymous, double anonymous, editorial, open, peer review, and date added. And so just to look at one that's maybe completely different, Thoracic Research and Practice has no charges, publishes in English, and here we see this information again. And you could probably click on those subjects to do a little bit more discovery. If you did decide you wanted to publish in this journal, it looks like you can access it through a number of links, but probably here through instructions for authors, which should take you to the journal page. Looks like it does. And we'll go back up here to the results where we see an option to share or embed. So if you were a faculty member trying to help your peers out, or a department chair, and you were trying to promote open access publishing, then maybe you could share a link to this search under the subject, which we ended up in pulmonary diseases, open access journals. So I hope that helped you understand a little bit more about the directory of open access journals. It is a great tool. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.